Ladies and gentlemen, life will not always be easy. There will be days of darkness, storms that shake your very soul, and moments when you feel like giving up is the only option left. But deep within each of us, there is a strength far greater than any obstacle we will ever face. It's not in our circumstances, it's in our spirit. It's in the choice to stand tall when everything around us is falling. Today I want to talk to you about that strength. The kind that carries us through the fire, through the pain, through the doubt, and keeps us moving forward no matter what. Because no matter what life throws your way, you have the power to stay strong in any situation. When we talk about an unshakable mindset, we're not speaking of something that comes easy. No, it's something that's forged, built slowly, patiently in the fires of life's hardest trials. You don't wake up one morning with mental resilience. You earn it step by step through the moments when life tries to push you down, but you decide to rise. That's where it begins. In those small, quiet choices no one sees, where you say to yourself, I will not be broken. You see, life doesn't always come wrapped in comfort and ease. Sometimes it comes in the form of heartbreak, loss, rejection, failure. And in those times it becomes clear, resilience is not a gift, it's a discipline. It's a decision. It's what happens when you dig deep, plant your feet and say, I'm still standing. Even when your knees are shaking, even when your heart is heavy, even when the road ahead seems covered in fog, you stand, you fight, and most of all you believe. Mental resilience isn't pretending that pain doesn't hurt. It's not putting on a fake smile when your world is crumbling. No, it's acknowledging the hurt, facing the truth, and choosing to grow stronger through it. It's looking pain in the eye and saying, you may have visited me, but you will not live here. It's the courage to move forward even when every part of you wants to quit. That's strength. That's power. Many times in life, people look around and ask, why is this happening to me? But maybe the better question is, what is this trying to teach me? Because every trial, every struggle, every setback, there's something inside it that can shape you, grow you, elevate you. If you choose to see it. If you choose to stay open, if you choose not to let bitterness take root, but instead say, I will learn from this. I will not waste this pain. Resilience is also about consistency. It's not just about bouncing back from the big storms. It's about the daily choice to show up with purpose, to do the right thing even when it's hard, to speak life when the world is shouting fear, to walk with integrity when shortcuts tempt you. Because every choice you make builds the structure of your mind, brick by brick, day by day. And the stronger the structure, the more unshakable you become when life begins to tremble. You cannot control the winds, but you can raise your sails. You cannot stop the rain, but you can build shelter. You cannot avoid every disappointment, but you can choose not to be destroyed by it. That is the mindset of the strong. That is the mindset of the resilient. They know storms will come. They know wounds will hurt. But they've decided that no matter what, they will not quit. They will not fold. They will not be defined by the storm, but refined by it. And sometimes, my friend, staying strong doesn't mean you roar. It means you whisper, I'll try again tomorrow. Sometimes resilience is found in rest, in quiet, in surrendering what you can't control, and holding on to what you can. Your faith, your character, your vision, your hope. Those are the things that build you up from the inside out. Let me tell you this, there is more in you than you know. You are stronger than the voice that says you're not enough. You are greater than the failure that tries to label you. You are not what you've lost. You are not what others have said about you. You are what you choose to become. And every day you wake up and keep going. You are building a legacy, a story of strength. A testimony of resilience. So yes, it may be hard. Yes, the night may be long. But morning always comes. Light always finds a way through. And the more you endure, the more you overcome. The more you realize your strength was never in avoiding the battle. Your strength was found in the fight. In the fact that you never gave up. That you stood tall with tear-stained cheeks. That you pressed on with a heart that refused to quit. That you kept believing when the world called you foolish. That you kept loving when others chose hate. That you kept building when others walked away. That, my friend, is the mark of someone who has built an unshakable mindset. You don't need perfect circumstances to be strong. You don't need applause or approval. What you need is a fire inside that refuses to be put out. A reason greater than your pain. A vision that sees past the valley to the mountain beyond. You may feel broken, but you are not defeated. You may feel weary, but you are not alone. And if you keep standing, if you keep pressing, you will rise. Not just for you, but for others who are watching, who are learning from your courage, who are drawing strength from your example. Because your resilience doesn't end with you. It becomes a light for someone else, a beacon for the weary, a reminder that no matter how dark the night, we were born to rise again. There comes a time in every life when pain knocks at the door. It doesn't ask for permission. It walks in and settles down like it owns the place. Sometimes it arrives through loss, a loved one taken too soon, a relationship torn apart, a dream that never came to pass. Other times it shows up through failure, rejection, betrayal, or the sting of watching everything you built crumble before your eyes. But no matter how it arrives, pain leaves a mark. And in that moment when your heart is heavy and your soul feels weary, you face a decision. Will you let this pain define you, or will you rise and let it refine you? Pain is a powerful force. It can break you, but it can also build you. It can knock you down, but it can also wake something up inside you that you never knew existed. There's a kind of strength that doesn't come from ease or comfort. It comes from walking through the fire and coming out not burned but brighter. It comes from standing in the ashes and saying, I'm not done, I'm just getting started. You see, adversity is not the end of the road. It's the beginning of something greater. Every struggle has the potential to stir up purpose. Every setback holds a seed of growth. But it takes vision to see it. It takes faith to believe that what was meant for harm can be turned into good. It takes courage to say, this pain will not be wasted. I will use it. I will grow from it. I will turn it into power. Some of the strongest people you will ever meet have been through the deepest valleys. Their strength isn't loud. It's quiet. It's the kind of strength that keeps going when no one else is looking. It's the kind that says, I've seen the worst, and yet I still believe in the best. It's not just surviving. It's thriving. It's rising from the broken pieces and building something beautiful with what's left. When life brings you to your knees, that's not a signal of defeat. It's the foundation of transformation, because it's down there, in the low places, where your roots grow deep, where your character is tested, where your faith is stretched, where your heart learns compassion. And in that soil of sorrow, something sacred begins to take root. A strength that doesn't depend on circumstance. A peace that doesn't need perfect answers. A fire that doesn't burn out with the wind. Turning pain into power doesn't mean you ignore what you've been through. It means you face it with honesty. You feel it, you wrestle with it, and then you rise with it in your hands, using it as fuel to become more kind, more focused, more determined. It means you look your wounds in the face and say, you may have cut me, but you won't control me. You may have slowed me, but you won't stop me. You may have shaken me, but you won't silence me. Adversity is not the enemy. Sometimes it is the teacher. And if you let it, it will show you who you really are. It will reveal your grit, your resilience, your purpose. It will burn away the distractions and leave only what matters most. It will strip away pride and plant humility. It will take away ease and give you endurance. It will tear down walls and build up faith. Because every pain you endure prepares you for the purpose ahead. There is someone out there right now, walking through fire. They feel forgotten. They feel like giving up. But if you've turned your pain into power, if you've found strength in adversity, then your story becomes their hope. Your scars become their light. Your survival becomes their sign that they can make it too. And that's why we keep going. That's why we rise. Not just for ourselves, but for those who haven't seen the sunrise yet. You may think your pain disqualifies you, but it may be the very thing that equips you. Because there are places you can speak into now that you couldn't before. There's a depth to your words, a weight to your voice, a power to your presence. When you've walked through the fire and come out stronger, people can feel it. They know it, and they listen. Not because you have all the answers, but because you've lived through the questions. There is something beautiful about a heart that's been broken but still chooses to love. Something powerful about a soul that's been crushed but still dares to dream. Something unstoppable about a person who's been knocked down, but still believes in standing tall. That's what it means to turn pain into power. To look at everything that tried to destroy you and say, "You made me stronger. You made me wiser. You made me ready." So don't despise your pain. Don't bury it or run from it. Bring it to the light. Hold it in your hands, and then begin to build, brick by brick, day by day. Take the lessons, take the fire, take the tears, and make something out of it. Make it matter. Let it shape you. Let it propel you. Let it remind you that nothing you faced has been wasted. It was all part of the preparation, part of the process, part of the making of who you are becoming. You may not see it now. You may still feel the weight, but keep going. Keep believing. Keep rising, because your pain is not the end of the story. It is the beginning of your strength. And one day, you'll look back and realize the moments that hurt you the most were the very moments that built your fire, defined your faith, and gave you a strength you never knew you had. There are moments in this life when the storm clouds gather so thick, the sunlight seems like a distant memory. When the winds of struggle howl at your door, and the weight of your circumstances press so heavy against your chest, you wonder how you'll ever breathe again. But it's in those moments, those dark, lonely, bitter nights, that you discover something sacred. You discover that strength is not about never falling. It's about rising again and again, with courage in your heart, hope in your soul, rising above the pain, the fear, the disappointment that is not an accident. It's a choice, a deliberate decision to fix your eyes, not on the mountain, but on the summit, not on the waves crashing around you, but on the solid ground beneath your feet. Life will not always be easy. You will face valleys deep and shadows long, but deep within you is the power to endure, to overcome, to rise above. It may not always feel like it. You may feel weak, broken, empty. But strength isn't always loud. Sometimes it's simply the whisper that says, "I will not give up." You see, the greatest strategy to stay strong when life gets hard is to remember who you are, not just who the world says you are, not what your past tries to define you as, but who you were created to be. You were not made for defeat. You were made for victory. You were not fashioned to sink. You were fashioned to soar. And no storm, no setback, no season of sorrow can take that from you. If you choose to believe it, if you choose to rise anyway, one of the first steps in rising above is to shift your perspective. When life gets hard, our natural instinct is to focus on the problem. We replay the pain. We magnify the burden. But strength is found not in what you see, but in how you see it. If you see a trial as your end, you'll stop walking. But if you see that same trial as a test, a teacher, a stepping stone, you'll find the strength to keep going. You'll begin to realize that what's pressing you is also shaping you, molding you, preparing you for something far greater than you can see in this moment. And then there's the power of discipline, daily, quiet, unseen choices that make you stronger over time. Getting up one more time than you fall, showing up even when your heart is heavy, speaking words of life, even when your world feels lifeless. These are not small things. These are weapons, tools that sharpen your mind and guard your heart. You rise by what you choose to feed. Feed the fear, and it grows. Feed the fire within you, and you rise. One prayer, one breath, one act of courage at a time. Let me tell you, people will walk out, circumstances will shift, money may come and go, but what will carry you through the hardest night is a conviction that your life matters, that your pain is not permanent, that the struggle you're facing today is growing a strength that will carry you tomorrow. You rise by refusing to let bitterness take root. You rise by choosing forgiveness when revenge would be easier. You rise by believing in grace, even when everything around you says give up. Surround yourself with truth. In the darkest seasons, lies will try to whisper their way into your mind. You're not enough. You're alone. You're done. But you fight back with truth. You remind yourself, I have purpose. I am not forsaken. I am still breathing. And that means I'm still becoming. You lean on the promises. You speak them over your fear. You plant them deep in your soul. So when the winds blow, you don't break. You bend. You don't crumble. You grow. You rise like a tree planted by the waters, whose roots run deep, whose branches stretch to the sky, no matter what season they're in. And when you're tired, because you will get tired, you rest, but you don't quit. Even eagles take shelter from the storm, but when the wind passes, they spread their wings and rise again. And so will you. Rest your heart. Let the tears fall if they must, but do not lay down your calling. Do not forget who you are. Let the pain refine you, not define you. Let the valley build your vision, not blur it. And when you can't rise alone, lean on others. There is no shame in reaching for a hand. Sometimes the strongest thing you can do is say, I need help. Find your people, the ones who speak life when you're dry, who remind you of who you are when you've forgotten, who walk with you not just on the mountaintop, but through the midnight hour. You don't have to carry it all alone. You were never meant to. And there is power in unity. There is strength in community. Sometimes the very thing that helps you rise is simply knowing you're not rising alone. Speak life over yourself, even when your voice trembles. Speak light into the darkness. Declare hope when everything feels hopeless. That's how you rise. You speak what you seek until it shapes how you see. You stand in front of your fear and you say, you may roar, but I will not run. You may threaten, but I will not. Wow. Because I have walked through fire before, and I have not been consumed. I have seen storms before, and I am still standing. I may be bruised, but I am not broken. I may be tired, but I am not finished. You rise above, by knowing that life's weight may press on you, but it cannot crush what lives inside you. That flame, that spark, that unshakable belief in the light beyond the darkness. That is what keeps you going. That is what lifts your head. That is what strengthens your hand. And every time you rise, you inspire someone else to rise. Every time you press forward, someone behind you finds the courage to take one more step. And that's how we lift each other. That's how we change the world, one rising soul at a time. You rise not because the road is easy, but because the purpose is worth it. You rise because giving up is not who you are. You rise because somewhere inside you is a fire that cannot be quenched by circumstance. You rise because you know that even in the struggle, even in the storm, even in the silence, your story isn't over, your strength isn't gone, and your best days are not behind you but ahead of you. So take heart, lift your head, and keep walking, because the road may be hard, but the destination is worth every step, and with every step you rise. So as you stand today, wherever you are, know this: your journey is not in vain. You were made to rise, to endure, to overcome. No storm can drown the strength that lives within you. The pain you faced is building a future, filled with purpose, and every step forward is proof of your power. Don't look back in regret. Don't give in to fear. Lift your head, plant your feet, and keep pressing on. The fire within you was born for this moment, and even in your weakest hour, you are still rising, still strong, still standing, stronger than ever before.